Hi everyone, this is Nikki from the design team, and today I'm going to take you through making a simple shaker card. I'm going to give you some tips and tricks on making these, and we'll be looking at this simple, elegant card. I think this would make a great card for so many different kinds of things. I think it's very gender neutral and it just is so elegant. So here's how the card works. It's got these nice shaker pieces. I did keep this one pretty simple so that you could see how to color coordinate and ways to use your shaker pieces. So if you haven't done it yet, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button, and we'll get right into this card. Let's look at what I started with. So I started with some of the new products from Kat's release. This is the Quilted A2, and so it cuts out the perfect A2 card size, which is 4.25 by 5.5, and then you need some type of frame. This could be a window, it could be a circle. I'm using the new reverse scallop frames, and these will make the whole front of the card. I can make it a window. She also sells these A2 pieces of acetate, which are super convenient, especially if you're making the whole front of the card a shaker window. You can use any type of acetate, but you're going to need something. And then I always suggest picking out your sequin mix and your paper color together. I know I'm making a simple card, so I'm going to keep it with clear sequins, and this powder tool is essential. It doesn't have to be this specific one, but I love this Kat Scrappiness powder tool. So it fits. I love that it scoops up like this so that I don't get all the bristles in when I'm closing it. And then when you close it, you can snap it back down like this. And so you need some type of powder tool to keep your sequins from sticking to the sides, and also just to make sure you don't have too much static on your acetate window. Next is the stitched foliage, and this is a great die, so useful. So I'm going to use that and cut it out of a silver, but these could be used behind flowers. They could be used just for simple cards like this. I really like this die set, and I plan on using some more pieces of it really soon. So this friendship greetings has a lot of different kinds of sentiments. So I just took the piece I was going to use and tried to look at what seemed like a length that would look good on the card. So I decided the "You Mean So Much to Me" is really a great length for this card. So that's the one I decided to use. The only other thing you need is paper, and I used a silver paper and just plain white. So I'm going to use white to cut with both of my dies and the silver for the leaves. So I've cut both pieces of the white. Now it's time to make a window. So I'm taking these A2 acetate sheets, like I said, and we're going to use these. We will have to trim a little bit off because the frame is a little smaller than an A2 size. But when you're making your initial window, you can use liquid glue, but it is much easier and less messy to use some type of double-sided adhesive. With this frame, I'm using an 1/8 of an inch tape that I had, and I'm going to tape all the way around. You really want the window to be very secure so you don't start losing pieces. So I'm going to get these edges as close to each other as possible and get my tape down, and then we will stick on the acetate window. So we're not doing anything with foam tape yet, just some regular double-sided adhesive to start. So when I'm using an adhesive like this, I tend to like to go around and press it down really well, especially on a frame like this. I just want to make sure that I've got it all the way down. Sometimes when I'm putting it on, I'm not pressing it into the paper. So do that, and then now I need to pull the backing off. It's nice to have some kind of sharp tool, tweezers, something that you can grab this backing and pull it off. And then we'll stick an acetate sheet on this, and we're going to have to trim it up. So I'm going to kind of fast forward to that part. So now I'm going to come in at an angle here and cut this acetate to fit this frame. And there's not a whole lot of extra, but you need to make sure that you get it where you can't see the acetate from behind your frame. So I always kind of go at an angle to try to get that a little bit shorter back there, but you of course don't want to cut into your window. You just need to cut along the edge like I'm doing. And then we'll have our frame done, and we can get started on our foam tape. My one hint with foam tape is to use some type of foam strip. I'm using another real skinny foam strip here. You can cut larger ones down, but it's really nice to have a skinnier foam strip because you do not want any gaps at all when you're doing this foam tape. I'm going to zoom in so you can see what I mean. So I actually push it into the next piece right there so that I don't have a gap, because these little shaker pieces are small. So when you're going to put your next piece on, which I know you can't see where it is right there, I'm going to get that pushed against it, and then I'm going to take a piece and make sure I'm closing all the gaps. So I'm kind of pushing it up against that one and then laying down my strip. When you get to a smaller gap like this, sometimes it's a little tricky, but I like to take my piece of foam tape and see if I can measure it and get it right. And I just had one that I'd cut off an edge that was exactly right. If I'm concerned that that's not completely there, I can always layer behind it so nothing falls through a gap. So the next process is to see if you have enough foam tape on here that your shaker pieces move. So there's different size shaker pieces, and you always want to check this. Trust me, you will be so mad at yourself if you stick it down and your shaker pieces do not fit. This would have worked fine with the clear solid round confetti mix, but I'm going to use the white diamond sequin mix, and it has a few things that are kind of shaped like diamonds, which have a little bit more height to them, and so I decided I needed to add another layer. So this gives you a chance to go over those gaps that you had, if there were any there, and just kind of cover it with another layer. So I'm taking those same strips and just adding a layer all the way around on this. Here's where that powder tool comes in. So I need to use it. I have not taken the adhesive strips off the bottom of this, and I'm just going to take it and kind of fold it into these corners. And you want to do every little edge of that adhesive, because sometimes you have some sticky stuff kind of hanging over into your window. This also helps the static that you sometimes get on that acetate window. So sometimes things just want to stick to the acetate window. I don't always go back and powder the whole window because I don't want to make it too cloudy, but a lot of times I will make sure I'm really good with my powder all around the edges. So you can put your shaker pieces in like this, or you can put your shaker pieces on the main piece and set this over it. I will say, why in the world I'm doing it this way, who knows? I wasn't thinking. But I knew I had a really square thing, so it was easy to set it up this way. But I definitely would suggest putting your shaker pieces on the part that's the back and then putting the window over it. All right, so I'm going to be using this Lawn Fawn silver, and you could use any kind you want, but look at how I've just got the die sitting there right now. Look at how perfect that fits on this piece. I used some silver embossing and did a couple of these sentiments to see which one I like the best. I end up going with the "You Mean So Much to Me," but I also did "I Appreciate You" just to kind of look at how it fits on this. So those look really good. That silver matches really well. And now we're going to put the card together. So my last pointer is, when working with an acetate as the front part of your window, you want to not use liquid glue unless you are just super careful. So I put some double-sided adhesive on this die cut area before I cut it out so that I could easily peel it off and be able to stick it directly on here without squishing the glue onto that beautiful clear window. So it's a little tricky to get it on here because you're stuck to it, but it really, really helps when you are trying to do something with an acetate window. So I tried to use tweezers and I was just afraid I was going to tear this delicate part up. So I'm just going to eyeball it, put it down, and then we will attach the sentiment. You could use foam tape on your sentiment if you wanted to. I just decided to use another piece of double-sided adhesive and just stick it across here. So I'm carefully putting it on, and then I'm going to use my ruler so it's not completely stuck down to there. I am reasonably good at eyeballing, but whenever you're doing a card, it never hurts to grab a T-ruler or something to help you line things up. So I'm going to get this approximately where I want it, but not stick it all the way down to the acetate, and then I can use my T-ruler to line it up and make sure I've got it nice and straight. So this is the end of this video. Thank you guys so much for being here with me. I hope you learned something about shaker cards today, and I hope you will try some of them. They're so fun, and Kat has so many different fun embellishments that you can use for these. If you haven't done it yet, make sure you hit the like and subscribe. Everything I used in the video will be linked in the description below, so make sure you go through those links if you're going shopping soon. Those do help me out, but do not cost you anything. So I appreciate your support so much. I hope you enjoyed this card, and I can't wait to see you again on the channel soon. Have a great day. Bye.